Welcome back here to the Mountain Morning Show. Thanks for staying with us. As ski season has kind of come to a close here in Utah, a lot of Park City parents are wondering what activities they can send their kids off to, especially as we're getting ready to wrap up this year's school semester. And for that, here I have Heather Sims, who's the Director of Afterschool Programs with YSA. I have Eric Myers here from the Park City Curling Club, and Canice Harte with Moose on a Loose, a new kind of running series for youth here in Park City. Heather, I want to talk to you right away about YSA's program. You guys are kind of getting to a close of all your winter activities, but the start of your Activate program is happening here in just a few days, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yep, so we still have a few programs left for the last few weeks of the semester. And Get Out and Play has a mountain biking program, and Activate has curling and some cooking. But we really wanted to try have something new, so we wanted to try and keep with the snow and sports throughout the summer. And so we really wanted to have the kids try curling. It's a later entry sport, and we thought that it would be interesting. And believe it or not, a lot of the parents were like, curling, that sounds so cool. And I think coming off the Olympics with the gold medal, we actually opened it up, and Ecker Hill sold out within 24 hours. Wow. You know, we had 20 spots and they all went. But we still have a few spots for some of the older kids at Treasure Mountain. But it's exciting. You know, I mean, I've never tried curling myself, and so I'm excited to actually try it.
I agree, and I think with the Olympics, it made it really a popular and in-demand sport, I think, for people that had never tried it before. I know that it kind of just the way it played out, the way that time zones are kind of organized, we ended up seeing a lot of primetime coverage of curling, and I learned just how competitive and how strategic and how technical curling really is. Eric, can you talk about maybe why people are just gotten so interested in this sport?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I think one is, right, just like you said, it's a lot more exciting than probably people see originally if they've seen the sport. But then I think a lot of people look at it and say, you know, I might not be able to do 5 flips in the air in the aerials, but you know, anybody can curl, right? And they look at, you know, people like me and they say, wow, that isn't that hard, right? So and they look at the guys on even the Olympics. I mean, they're way more in shape, but it's not necessarily a demanding sport from a standpoint of, you know, you can't do it. So I think people get excited and they just see that, hey, that's something I can do, and maybe I can be in the next Olympics.
And try it out, right? And kind of try it at YSA, like you said, you encourage kids to try and maybe step out of the box and try a sport that they would have never tried before. And with curling, I think it's really great because in the last couple of weeks and months, the ice arena has been pretty much booked out on a nightly basis. You guys are getting ready to wrap up the adult league and start this YSA Activate program as well. Let's talk about how kids can get involved with that and parents.
Yeah, so it was very cool that Heather came to us as the curling club as part of Activate to try out curling, and you know, we have probably about 50, 60 members in the curling club, and most of them are there just from a social standpoint and want to play in the games and come on a weekly basis and play. But we have so many people that volunteer, whether we do corporate events or people come in for a learn to curl. And so many of our players will just say, yeah, I'll come in and coach a group of 8 or 10 people and walk them through curling for the first time. And so we're doing the exact same thing with Activate, and both at Ecker as well as at Treasure. And we're going to do 4 sessions for each of those groups here in the next 4 weeks. And kind of excited to just get the kids out there and throwing some stones.
Absolutely. Just try something new for sure. I'm sure a lot of these kids are going to be hooked after that. Canice, I want to turn our attention to running now here coming up. Obviously, we got these nice springtime temperatures here on their way. You guys are starting in partnership, I guess, with the Park City Running Company. You guys have kind of started the Moose on the Loose running series, which comes up now in May, correct? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. So yeah, Park City Running Companies are, you know, the main sponsor of it, but Moose on the Loose is a kids race series. It's on trail, and it's for 3 to 13-year-olds, and it's really centered around the idea of just having a lot of fun with the kids. You know, our belief is that kids can do hard things, so we put them on trails. They're on single track trails most of the time, and so we have 3 groups of kids, 3 to 5, which that's our mini Moose.
Okay.
And the 3 to 5-year-old kids are running half a mile.
Wow.
It's usually, you know, we obviously take a little bit easier on them, and the parents are there running along with them, but I know like when my wife went out for the first run with my, at that time, 5-year-old, Fiona, the 5-year-old, just took off. And my wife was trying to keep up. So the kids usually don't have an issue.
At all.
Yeah, they're actually just kind of roll with it. We have another group of kids, which is the middle group, our junior moose, and they're 6 to 9 years old. They run 1.5 miles. They tend to get on a little bit more aggressive trail. We still keep it, friendly and easy, but it's getting a bit harder at this point. And then our 10 to 13-year-olds they're doing 3 miles. And typically, kids in the school system don't run 3 miles until later in high school. So
Absolutely.
They're actually kind of getting into a longer distance trail race fairly early. And we don't really hold back on them at all. So that's, they'll have hills and, single track and tight turns and rocks, whatever is there. But we run the races one is in Round Valley, kind of over by the National Ability Center. We kind of use the trails there. We do another one down at the lower Olympic Park and run the trails. And then the third one, we go back to Round Valley, but we're actually over on the other side of Round Valley where we're running the trails.
Oh, very nice.
So, yeah.
So it seems very fun. You got 3 different groups of kids there, so pretty much any child from 3 years old, very young, all the way to 13 can run this event. It seems very fun as well. And how can parents get their children involved with these programs?
So for Moose on the Loose, they can sign up at mooseontheloose.run, and they can choose either the whole series or just an individual race.
Okay.
And then for the Activate and the Get Out and Play programs, it's ysaparkcity.org. And there's still some spaces available for some of the programs that we have left.
Perfect. And I did want to turn our attention over to kind of the program side at YSA. You guys are always looking for more volunteers to help with your programs. Obviously, we want to be as helpful as possible and give all of the youth here in Park City as many opportunities as possible. And with that, we need chaperones. We need kind of adult supervision there to help run these programs. So how can people get involved to donate their time?
So yes, well, actually for all the events, we always need chaperones to go on the bus, but also for the Moose on the Loose, we need chaperones to stand on the corners and direct kids and things like that. So if anybody is interested, they can just go to either ysaparkcity.org or mooseontheloose.run and contact us that way. And we are also looking for some prizes for Moose on the Loose. So
Sponsorship opportunity. Okay.
If there's any companies out there that would be willing to provide, we need 56 items. So yeah, for each race. So well, not for each race, in total.
For the whole series. Well, let's make it happen, Park City. I know that we can do that. We are obviously a very giving community here. So let's make that happen. I want to thank Heather. Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate it. Canice, very nice meeting all 3 of you. And I'm excited to see all these events go really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to continue here on the Mountain Morning Show. Much more coming up right after this break.